Good morning. This is Robert Kaars Sijpesteijn bringing you this morning's market update. Looking to the US, hawkish comments from the Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen yesterday boosted expectations of an interest rate hike, pulling US stocks lower and dragging down US indices. The US 500 dropped 15 points to close on 2,083.28. The US Tech 100 fell 15 points to close on 4,696.02. And the Wall Street closed down 91 points at 17,765. Yellen said she's confident in the outlook for economic growth and warned were the FOMC to delay the start of policy normalization for too long, we would likely end up having to tighten policy relatively abruptly to keep the economy from significantly overshooting both of our goals. Yellen told the Economic Club of Washington on Wednesday such an abrupt tightening would risk disrupting financial markets and perhaps even inadvertently push the economy into recession. Looking to commodities, gold dropped $16 yesterday to close on 1,053.9. While Brent crude also fell a little under $2 to $42.65 a barrel. Saudi Arabia has thrown down a challenge to big rival oil producers ahead of this week's OPEC meeting, saying it would back output cuts as long as they were supported by countries both inside and outside the cartel. The kingdom, OPEC's de facto leader, has set a high bar for a deal that is unlikely to be met by the time of Friday's meeting in Vienna, but it leaves open the possibility of an agreement in 2016. The move indicates a further softening in tone from the world's largest oil exporter, which led the cartel's landmark shift in policy a year ago, arguing that keeping the taps open would pressure high-cost rival producers. OPEC's strategy shift upended the oil industry and triggered the biggest price slump in at least a decade. But in recent weeks, Saudi has thought to counter the mantra of lower for longer, prices that have taken hold in the industry. Energy Intelligence, a specialist industry publication, said Saudi Arabia would back a coordination cut of 1 million barrels per day next year, the equivalent of just over 1% of global oil supply, if OPEC members, Iran and Iraq, agreed to limit production alongside Russia, the biggest exporter outside the producer group. In Europe, the Germany 30 dropped 149 points to close on 11,124.4, and the UK 100 followed suit, shedding 17 points to close on 6,388.7. Despite the fall, pharmaceuticals performed well yesterday, with Shire and GlaxoSmithKline adding 2.35% and 2% respectively, while AstraZeneca added value as well, with Morgan Stanley noting support for the underperforming stock. In corporate news, AB InBev and SABmiller have confirmed they're looking at ways of appeasing their competition regulators by exploring the sale of three of SAB's biggest European brands. Peroni and Grolsch may be put up for sale, the pair said in statements today, but on top of that, Greenwich-based craft brewer, Meantime, may also be put up for sale, just over 6 months after it was bought by SABmiller. Today's data in focus at 1:30, Mario Draghi will speak in an ECB conference and US unemployment claims will be released, while at 3 o'clock Fed Chair Janet Yellen will speak before the Joint Economic Committee in Washington. That's all for this morning's market update. Thank you and goodbye.